Hello! Welcome back to more The Pigeon Killers Present Beowulf, featuring no Pigeon Killers and no Beowulf. This is the absolute king of falsely advertised streams. Thanks for joining us. It's been a bit of time since we left off. Our hero, that's me, hello, Åsbjorn Skál, had a little adventure where he went to save a holy island from a troll. I did a little bit of heroism, a little bit of fighting off some raiders. Most importantly, acquired a very cute doggo. I am Nick. I'll be playing Åsbjorn Skál, and as always, the game will be run superbly by my good friend Shweta.
Hi everyone, I'm Shweta. And yeah, we're going to pick up with Beowulf again. Last time we had gone to the Hermit Island and fought off evil creature named Mudbona, and then we had this system in Beowulf where you roll for portent, which kind of predicts the future of how your next adventure is going to go. And for our hero, we rolled cruelty, doomed, greedy, battle scarred. And 3 of those words belong to the monster, which means there are 3 times in this adventure where the monster will get advantage, and battle scarred will be the hero's followers who are going to get advantage once. No advantage for the hero so far, but maybe that will change. And just to begin, Beowulf is the 5e supplement, or like an extension of 5e, where you kind of make do in this world of that was part of Beowulf, and you're just one GM and one player. And we are coming back to the adventure. It has been a few months, Åsbjorn, since you visited the Hermit Sanctuary. You saw and fought the great horror that was Mudbona, and when you returned home triumphant, you were celebrated and revered. You were eager to keep going on this path. But a few months have passed and there is no real news from anywhere. You're slowly running out of money and the goodwill you earned from rescuing the people at the sanctuary. Your followers are also getting restless. Some are even thinking that maybe it's time to find someone else to hitch their wagon to, so to speak. So how are you feeling when you hear this is what everything has come to?
I think Åsbjorn would be feeling a little bit restless. It seemed like he was taking the first step on the road to greatness, to bringing back honor to his family name, to bringing the justice to the world that his earlier years were so sorely lacking in. And I think, cabin fever is probably setting in a little bit at this point. And I think it's probably fair to say, tying in with the portents, that he might be a little bit less than discerning in terms of which adventures he's willing to go on, and a little bit less concerned about their survivability than just, do they get him out of the house and somewhere with a sword in his hand?
So, as you come to spend another day at the mead hall, it seems the winds are changing, because the Scop looks directly at you as she reads this verse. A baleful and blasted kingdom, barren of hall and harvest, where mere and mire merge with midden. There bitter braid bides as lord. Lonely and wind-whipped hills are a mighty throne for Megan's malice. Bald holds the mountain's malevolent hidage, a bone-tied boon to feast the Bretwalda. 3 kin callous sinnings rule there, a hated realm, a hearth for hardship. And as she finishes her piece, she says this story is no myth or fiction. It is the true story of the people of Eotenalond, the ogre lands as it is called, where 3 cruel ogre brothers, Braid, Megan, and Bald, rule over the remains of their father's kingdom. Their father in turn had conquered and stole the land from the rightful human king. Now the ordinary people chafe under the power of the ogre brothers, and any who question them disappear and are never seen again. The people of Eotenalond have been waiting for a hero to rescue them from the clutches of these cruel giants for a long, long time. And as she finishes speaking, the king's head turns sharply to you. He raises his glass at you from where he is seated, and then returns to talking to the people around you. What do? How do you decide to take on this journey? And if you do, how do you prepare for the journey? Who are the followers you take?
So I've forgotten the term for it. What did skalds tell? As the poem is being recited, I think by the halfway point, Åsbjorn is going to be finishing his horn of ale, standing up, kind of the equivalent to getting his jacket on and looking around meaningfully. And it is clearly time to saddle up and hit the road. Sigri, my old friend, is probably a little bit unhappy that she hasn't had a chance to go on an adventure yet. So we're going to give her the nod, see what she's bringing to the table. Obviously, Theota, my doggo, she is too beautiful to leave behind. Someone will surely steal her. And we don't want bloodshed in the mead hall. And, who else would be good for ogres? I think Farthane. Farthane, he's well-travelled. He speaks a lot of languages. I would ask him if he would like to come along. And I think Froda and one of my simple warriors, who didn't get a run out last time, Ubba. Yeah, Ubba's fresh to the battle. Hopefully, taking some new people will avoid the PTSD raising its head from the near-death experiences last time.
Yeah.
I think between us we would have an enthusiastic crew with a good spread of skills, ready to go and kick some ogre.
So these are your 4 followers?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And as you set off, you set off on your ship to Eotenalond, which is quite a ways away. You've been warned. And the journey by sea is anything but smooth. About the second day of the journey, you find that there are disagreements among the people. It started as a pleasant enough journey, and someone seemed to have made a comment about the church. What started as a mere disagreement grew to become a big deal. A series of arguments divides your crews and puts everyone in a foul mood, starting with a follower of your choice. Have each follower make a DC 5 insight check, stopping when a follower fails the check. Or you have rolled for all of your followers.
Alright, D20. So let's start with Ubba. Ubba's pretty mild-mannered. This is going to be a 20 easily.
I hope you're able to hear the music.
Yeah, I can hear. I think
That's
it should be coming
success.
from the
That's
stream
one
as well.
success.
Alright, beautiful. One more of those.
Second success.
2 successes. No bloodshed on the boat, please, crew. There we go.
A critical success.
And one more. Ooh,
Just made it. So if someone had failed, they would have received the sullen burden. A follower can carry a burden, which is a sort of a disadvantage on them. And sullen burden meant that the follower could not be activated without becoming spent at the end of the activation. And that tag would have been permanent until the end of the adventure, when you would choose to remove that tag. So while everybody is fighting, you kind of walk in and you quieten the... despite your own beliefs, you decide to quieten everybody down, and people are back to being normal and enjoying their drink and focusing on their work. But that night, you find it difficult to sleep. The argument that broke out affected you as well. You notice that the night sky is amazingly clear and the stars are out in force. But something in their placement concerns the crew and those followers who are well acquainted with the sea. They say that the ship is off course. Now pick one of your followers, they must make a DC 13 intelligence check.
Alright. I know one of my followers is good at intelligence. I'm just checking to see if it's one of the ones that I happen to have brought along.
I think it's Olaf, and you didn't take Olaf.
Yeah, we had a little bit of beef last time.
Yes.
Alright, so yeah, just a straight dice roll. 11.
Does that have any modifier?
It does not, no. Just straight
So
11.
which follower did you pick?
It's going to be pretty random. I'm going to say Farthane. He's the most well-traveled of us, so probably the one I'd turn to.
So he kind of spends all night working out a new course so that you can reach your destination on time, and as a result has become spent.
Alright, beautiful. We'll mark that down, and I'll give him a little pat on the back. I know this is perhaps not how you wanted to spend the journey or what you thought we would use your skills for, but my friend, without you, we would have been lost at sea.
You see he is grateful. The next morning when you wake up, he's the one who wakes you up. And he gently suggests docking the ship to land for some time, because you've been on water for some time now and you haven't been having the best of luck. Do you take his suggestion?
Yes, I would not have asked for your advice if I did not think it would be good. We will dock at the nearest place where it looks safe to do so, stretch our legs, try and get some fresh provisions.
So your luck seems to be turning. You have located a nearly perfect place to rest ashore overnight. Water and food are plentiful, and the followers not on watch are able to get plenty of rest. Choose a spent follower and make them unspent, but also give them the spoiled burden.
Alright, beautiful. Farthane, you are back in the game!
So he is now spoiled. He is convinced that he has done enough already to serve you. In order to activate him again, you need to make a wisdom saving throw when the time comes. On a failure, he does not become active, but he remains unspent. And your reaction, if you had taken a reaction to activate him, gets wasted. That burden is temporary and it can be removed at the end of the adventure.
Alright, beautiful, thank you.
And as you spend time on this little island where you dock, your ship has come across the remains of an abandoned vessel. It could be anything from a capsized fisherfolk's boat to a complete warship, empty and crawlers floating in the fog. Do you want to investigate or would you want to stay away?
I would investigate cautiously, particularly with a mind to trying to find if there's any personal effect, with a mind to kind of return them to the next of kin or to the family. Someone out there is waiting for a friend or a family member to come home, and it would be quite nice if we could just let them know what happened to that person.
I think those are really good intentions, so I'm going to give you advantages on these 3 rolls that you must make for 3 of your followers. Each of them have to make a DC 10 wisdom saving throw. And if they let me know if they succeed or fail.
Alright, beautiful. First one is a 10 with advantage.
Right.
Beautiful. So that'll be Sigri. This is Ubba. A 6 and a 2. So Ubba, Sigri succeeded. Ubba has failed. A 12, so we'll call that the roll with advantage. And Farthane. 19, so that would be success on an advantage. So just Ubba has failed that roll.
Ubba has a condition or a burden called unnerved. They have disadvantage on saving throws against being frightened. This is a temporary burden and it can be removed at the end of the adventure.
Beautiful. I'll see that he's looking a little less than comfortable, and I will charge him with staying back at our own ship to just keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't run away when we're not looking and go and start a new life out at sea on its own.
Amazing. So, after all of this adventures that you had while traveling to Eotenalond, you finally make your way on ship as your group moves closer to the center of the island. And I'll just change the picture. So this is the night time, and your ship lands on the beach. You see that there's, as you reach closer to this island, there's a brightly lit stone structure ahead. It has a rectangular main section with a steeply angled wooden rafter supporting a shale of roof, attached to a square tower that is at least 3 stories tall. There's a beacon fire burning at the top of this tower. Do you have a follower that is aligned with the church or follows the new ways?
No. The only church-aligned follower in my party I have left back home after our minor contretemps on the Hermit's Island.
So you think there might be some significance for Olaf here, but for a moment, but nothing that you can recognize. Your follower suggests to get off the ship and go into this place to see what it is. Do you take that suggestion, or do you decide to spend the night at the ship?
I'd like to approach it, but I'd just like to, once we're close enough to get a good view, I'd like to observe it from a distance for a little while, just to see if there's anything amiss, to see if any giant trolls go running past chasing Ubba. Yeah, I think Åsbjorn is slowly learning a little bit of caution after repeatedly nearly dying a few months ago.
So this, when you get off your ship, along with, do you take anybody with you, or do you go by yourself?
I would be taking everybody but Ubba.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave him behind while he's a little unnerved. So yeah, Sigri, Farthane, myself, and what's in it? I've forgotten my dog's name. I feel like a bad parent. Theota the doggo.
Yeah. So you step forward along with your followers, the crew and Ubba, back at the ship. Light spills out from underneath the door leading into this structure. It seems to be quite welcoming. So you don't look around, there's not a single soul nearby. It seems that if there is any person or animal, they are inside the structure.
Alright, if nothing seems amiss, I think I'm just going to approach the door and give it a good hammer with the pommel of my sword and call out, "Hello! We are friendly travelers. We mean you no harm. Is there anybody at home?"
So as you knock on the door and you speak, inside the room, you see a series of rough-hewn stone benches, half a dozen on either side, with a central walkway aligned with the door. Kind of reminds you of your own mead hall. And beyond the benches are an empty altar and alcoves carved into the wall, where dozens of candles stand, each burning brightly. There are shutters that look to be hand-painted along the long walls that seem to be telling a story of some sort. There are some scenes drawn onto them. And there are 3 figures here, 2 seated together on one bench and one on a different one. Each of them face the altar, and they seem to be singing in a sort of language that you don't really understand. After you speak up, the singing stops, and the figures begin to move, now standing to look at you. You see 3 people. There's this old balding man with a golden circlet around his head. He wears this thick woolen clothes under his furs, and he stands upright despite his old age. And when he's walking towards you, he's walking with a limp. But he has a warm smile on his face, and with a deep voice, he just says, "Welcome. You must have traveled from far if you've come here."
Nice. Just before I respond to that, sorry, as the singing, one of the people I brought, Farthane, he has the many tongues trait, so he's able to translate languages that I'm not familiar with. Could I just lean over to him and just say, is that the normal language they are singing in?
He kind of frowns because he says, "I can't seem to place that language."
So it must not be the tongue of the church. Interesting. I'm gonna file that away in the back of my mind, and as the man in the golden circlet greets me, I'm gonna bow and say, "We have traveled a long time on the sea. We are overnighting on the island. It has been a difficult journey, and well, it is a pleasure to meet you. I am Åsbjorn Skál, and these are my companions Sigri and Farthane, and the looker of the group is my faithful companion Fiota."
Okay. So when you kind of say that, he smiles warmly and he says, "Welcome to all of you. You may rest here if that is what you are looking for."
That is most kind of you. It is a beautiful song you were singing when we arrived. It was some kind of hymn, a prayer to your gods.
Yes. And you see that he's wearing a small silver cross around his neck, the symbol of the church.
Oh, very good. You would normally be singing in Latin, no? I attended the church myself for many years as a youth, but I do not recognize the songs or the tongue they were sung in.
Oh, we didn't much care for Latin when we learned it.
And what is the beautiful syllables that you prefer instead? It sounded most enchanting.
Well, it looks like you're quite interested in what we are singing. Are you a man of the church?
I am no longer a follower of the Christian God, but I am always interested in hearing other points of view, and my good friend Farthane here, he is a scholar of many languages. There is always interest on his part to learn a new tongue and new ways to converse with the peoples of the world.
None of anything that I say is new. In fact, I have been saying what I've been saying for a very long time. And he kind of moves towards the shutters where these little drawings are, and he says, "Please, would you like to learn a little about this land?"
I would be honored. Please.
He points to the drawings, and as he speaks, he says, "Once there was Eotenalond, an ogre king who had 3 sons. The king ruled a great land after ruthlessly defeating the previous goodly human king in a brutal battle. The mannish king and his sons stood no chance against the brutality of the giant king. Now the ogre king was old and had not named an heir, for his oldest was strong but not brave or cunning. His middle child was brave but not cunning or strong, and his youngest was cunning but neither strong nor brave. He viewed any choice, but he was lucky enough to have a dwarf as a servant, and he sent for the creature. He said, 'Make each of my sons a weapon, such that they must fight. and thus whoever lives shall be my heir. And he stops at the end of the wall, and he turns to one of the other men there, who stands and starts approaching you. This is a man who was sitting beside the older man earlier. He has a very, just like the older man, he has a welcoming smile and a happy face. He is wearing clothing as rich as his father's, so there are some splotches of dark brown stains on his garments, and his blonde hair and bright blue eyes make clear his heritage of the north. And he approaches and he says, "Oh, you're telling them the old story again. Did you want me to continue?" And the older man nods, and the second man says, "My name is Banaras." And he sort of tries to usher you to the next wall. And he says, "My father Bartas has told the story to many. Let's see how much significance you take from it." And I'll just place Banaras on the map. I have placed what Bartas looks like. And you see him say, "The dwarf was named Nori the Clever, a great smith of magical weapons. He made a club for Megan, the oldest, an axe for Bald, and a sword for Braid, the youngest. He told each of them, 'While your weapon is in your care, no other blade shall bite upon you, other than those of your brothers.' Thus Nori told the king they must fight each other, for otherwise they would each be in danger." And then a third person approaches. This person, he is tall and lanky, kind of different in build to the other two, and has a very weathered appearance that the other two don't have. But his clothes are simpler and darker than the others. But there is a little bit of a similarity between them that you understand this is father and brothers. And he barely takes you to the next wall. I'm just going to place him on the map. He says, "And Walt was the first to act, challenging both his brothers to duels. But Braid thought for a moment and said, 'It is unwise for us to fight. You might chance to beat me, for you are braver than me, but it is unlikely that you would chance to win against Megan, who is stronger than both of us. Then too, one of us might slay him, either by boldness or cleverness. If you value your life, we should make a pact.' And then they slew their father for pitting them against one another, and Nori too, so that no one would know the secrets of their weapons. And thus they did, each ogre brother choosing a land, the coastal fens for Braid, the rolling middle lands for Megan, and the high mountains for Bald. And each claimed a portion of their father's servants to do with as their cruel hearts desire." The three men sort of come together and look at you all expectantly.
That is a most sad and harrowing tale. It is a terrible thing for a father to pit his sons against one another, and equally abhorrent for a son to slay his father. I still feel the sadness of my own father being taken from me. I cannot imagine what kind of man would do the deed himself. It seems that such a monstrous act might lead one to be cursed by the old gods and the new. Perhaps even letting their outward appearance reflect the ogreish monstrosity that clearly lives in their hearts.
Paradas kind of looks at his father, and you see Bartas look at him back, and then they turn to you. Bartas says, well, it is up to you what you make of the story. And he sort of fingers, folds like his circlet gently, and he says, I just like to tell this story to any adventurers who think they can venture into the Overland and rip apart what the brothers have built there.
If the brothers still have their weapons, it would seem to imply that perhaps the only people who can defeat these ogres, well, each could be defeated by the other two, but not by a mortal man such as myself.
Such an assumption would be correct. But if there was a way of taking away those weapons from the clever one, the brave one, and the strong one, then maybe they could be defeated.
Well, I am yet to meet an ogre, but hopefully if I cannot match them in strength, then I can outmatch them in wit.
The younger one, the youngest of them all, likes to think of himself as someone who is quite clever. So maybe since he is at the marshes, at the fens, he's probably going to be the first one you meet. You can test your theory there.
Well, it is a most enlightening story. I am very grateful and honored that you have shared it with me. And
the story is not all that we want to share with you. And he kind of indicates that all of you follow. And do you?
Yeah, I'm warming to these people.
You go up to the bonfire that's raging on the top of this structure, and he, surrounding it, gives you food, gives you drinks, and as you are enjoying it, you realize that that bonfire is quite large, but it's not exactly heating you up. Instead, and it doesn't seem to be that nobody's putting in more wood into the bonfire to keep it going. It seems to be lit on its own somehow.
I would ask about that. This is a mighty fire to be burning without visible fuel. What is it that keeps the flames alight?
It reflects the king's generosity.
Ah, a most useful flame, and from the size of it, a most generous king indeed.
He smiles. The old man particularly smiles back at you and continues to pass on drinks and food.
Well, my lord, we are most grateful for this hospitality and for your generosity. Is there any way that we can repay your kindness? Is there anything that we can do for you?
Just one second.
No worries.
Yes, sorry, favouring.
No problem. I was just asking him, just thanking him for his hospitality and generosity, asking him if there's any way that I can repay his kindness, if there is anything he would have of me, of my followers, anything we can do for him.
He smiles and he says, take care of the witch.
I shall make sure to do so. I will keep an eye out.
I'll say you celebrate and you kind of partake in his generosity. You fall asleep, and when you wake up, it seems that bonfire is long gone. 3 people are nowhere to be seen, and those little art that you saw around the walls, nowhere to be seen either. What looked like a king's mead hall is now looking very bare bones.
When these people choose to move on from a place, they do not do it by half. Aye, my friends and loyal followers, this has been most strange. Should we go and check on the abandoned ship before moving on from this island? Yes, we should. I thought you would agree.
You did not abandon the ship. Your crew and 1 follower is still there. I believe.
The shipwreck that we found, sorry.
The shipwreck is long in the past. This is now.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, we're back. We're actually in Eotenalond now. And the abandoned ship, you basically just found like good provisions there, not much else. But yeah, I'll say that you move back to your ship, and from there you can kind of see that it's near to this ocean. There are these briny marshes and mires, and then there are these rolling hills, and to the top there are these hills that grow steep, joining the mountains that mark the borders of these lands. And you get to the very edge of the marshy lands, and you're able to find a safe place to beach the ship, and then you can sort of enter into these lands. Do you want to walk in with a particular plan, or do you want to kind of go and take things up as you see them?
I'm going to go in fairly cautiously, but I'm going to look for signs of human habitation, human settlements. If the people here are obviously unhappy living under the rule of an evil ogre, as as we all would be, yeah, I'm going to try and seek out some human allies, get a little bit of information, get a bit of a lay of the land.
So this is kind of what you see. This is the lay of the land. You are here. Wait, let me see how to ping. Yeah, you are there at the beach. Or to the left of the map, there's a photo of what you're seeing, which is this little structure in the distance. The marshlands, as you know from the story, belong to Braid, the most clever of the ogre brothers. And this land is divided between deeper swamps that are filled with peat, and higher lands where pigs dig in the mud for tubers until they themselves are harvested. And do you walk on into the lands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd approach the structure. In terms of scale, does it look more human-sized or more ogre-sized?
The structure in the distance looks quite tall, yes.
Alright, I'm probably going to initially give that a wide berth and explore the marshes for any more human-sized structures, settlements, things of that nature.
You see that there are these peat gatherers as you explore the land, and again I'm saying that you take your followers and you keep your crew back in the ship. So there are these peat gatherers that you come across. They're cutting up the strips of peat from the ground and piling them onto carts so that they can be air dried. And as you walk near them, there's this woman, like older looking woman, who kind of raises her head, then looks at you, and then straightens up, and with her little knife comes walking up towards you. Um, the others look kind of timid and a little worried about talking to you, but she's marching right in front of you. She's well muscled, severe looking, and like seems like she as she approaches, she seems less old and more like she's in her 20s, but just very weathered. And she has this bog knife that she's carrying, so almost like a threat, not really threatening you, but just in a way to show that she's ready for anything. And she approaches you and she says, "Yes, what do you want?"
I'm gonna put my hands up, unarmed, smile, and say, "Greetings, I am Åsbjorn Skál. I am an adventurer. I have been given to understand that there are ogres ruling over the people of these lands, and that their rule is cruel and unjust. I have come to liberate the good people of the region from the yoke of the ogres. I am here as a
Whatever.
friend."
My name is Svera. You're not going to defeat the ogre, the king, the I don't know, whatever. You're not going to defeat. Just go back. The ship is right there.
Well, not with that attitude we won't, but I assure you, I am not a man to be deterred easily. Is there anything that you might be able to tell me about Braid that would at least give me a fairer chance?
She looks you up and down. Can you make a persuasion check?
Absolutely, I am somewhat persuasive. If
I would say
remember rightly.
like you have advantage simply because she sees that you're someone who gets his hands dirty.
Beautiful, thank you. Oh, not 20 plus 5 for a beautiful 25. Thank you, Dice Gods.
She tells you about Braid, him being an ogre, him being the most clever one among the brothers. She says he has this giant long sword that he grips with both his hands. And she says he loves tricks. He's very clever that way. And mentions there's this in his home, around his home is a moat. And he likes to keep a snake there. And he likes to keep it just hungry enough so that if someone comes looking for him, he can find his food.
Interesting. That is a very useful information. My thanks to you, Swera.
Well, useful information is what you asked of me.
It is. It is.
So
And
what would I get in return for something like that? Let's say that you do manage to kill the snake and the ogre and the ogre's brother and the ogre's other brother. What do I get?
Well, freedom from the ogres would be the foundation of what you would get.
That's something that would happen whoever killed him. I'm telling you, what would I get?
What would you like?
A share in running this place. If they die, someone has to run this place.
They do. What would your fellow countrymen and countrywomen say to this? Do you think you would have their support?
Well, I better have their support. And she kind of turns to look at the timid workers who are like quietly eavesdropping and kind of like shiver away from the place. Like just move a bit further back. And she gives them a glare as if, and turns to look at you like, I have them under control.
And that is how you would rule, how you would lead, through fear and coercion?
Oh, I'm no ogre.
There are ogres and there are ogres. There are those who are giant on the outside and wield this to the detriment of others, but there are also people who are giant on the inside, and this is no less detrimental to those around them unless they wield that strength with care and compassion.
I will tell you this. I will be good, but I won't be nice.
That I can work with. If you did have a share in running this place once the ogres are defeated, I would be coming back to check on how things were going from time to time to ensure I had not replaced one ogre with another. There are monsters in human skin as well as monsters of myth and legend.
Yes, I learn about that in church too. Don't worry about it.
Can I make an insight check with regards to how this conversation's going down with the other peat cutters and whether they're like, oh my god, I really don't want Swearer in charge, that would ruin my life.
Yes, you can.
Beautiful. D20. 12 plus insight. 3 for 15.
Think of her as middle management. She's a necessary evil.
Alright. If you are willing to swear upon your honor that you would rule for the benefit of the people around you and not just yourself, then I would not hold you to being nice. Sometimes you must be ruthless in order to ensure the well-being of the wider population.
She kind of bristles at your request, and then she thinks about it again, and she just like very, like gallantly lifts her head and she says, "I swear upon my honor, I will not be an ogre to these people because they are my people."
I believe we have an understanding. And I'm gonna reach out to shake a hand.
Yeah, she shakes your hand and starts to get back to work.
And just one more inquiry, if you would be so kind. Are you aware of a witch in the region? I have been... it has been implied to me that such a person might be a possible ally or somebody worth looking out for and taking care of.
She kind of she lifts her head a little, looks at you. Who told you about the witch?
On our journey here, we saw a building with a beacon fire. It had been a difficult journey. It was, I'm going to tell her kind of how many days travel it's been, how far it's been. But a most strange thing happened. We met a king named Bertus, his son Bernardus. They feasted us, they gave us shelter, they told us of the witch, of the tale of how Magon, Brave and Bold came to rule these lands and be ogres, and asked me to take care of the witch in return for their kindness.
I don't know what any of that is, but the witch you would know from Hidalf. He's up a little higher near the pig farms.
Well, then I believe that will be the next stop on my little journey before paying a visit to Braid and his mighty serpent.
She nods and she starts to walk away again and then turns back and says, "He's very proud. Don't insult him." And then gets to work.
Thank you for the advice. I wish you good fortune until we next meet.
You walk further up and you see there are these young men sort of, there's this structure that they build. These lands of the swamp are poor for growing crops, but they do have like giant herds of pigs, and these pigs eat just about anything. So they're fine in this environment. You see, there's this one man watching over the herds, and he has very young assistants who patrol the fence. They're just sort of tied ropes around the trees and made a pen of a sort, and they keep moving around in a circle so to prevent the pigs from escaping. And this man that you're seeing is observing the assistants is dressed in workers' clothing. It's very well made and seems quite clean, in contrary to what you've seen so far. And he kind of turns and sees you approaching. Doesn't really startle or look in surprise. He's just watching you approach him.
I'm going to give him a cheery wave and hail him. Greetings to you, my friend. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Åsbjorn Skál, an adventurer soon to be of great fame and legend. To whom... sorry, mate, I missed that.
Hidolf.
Hidolf. It is a pleasure. I have heard you are an important man around these parts.
He kind of looks a little surprised at that himself. Well, yes, I supply the pigs to Braid's road.
And working for Braid, is it a good life?
A very good life. I mean, these pigs mostly go to him, pays a good sum.
It would explain why people have been speaking of you so highly, Hidolf. I am here on a quest of adventure. I have been asked by a friend to take care of the witch who is in these parts, and I've been told that you are one of the few people who has the knowledge and the skill to be able to guide me to her. I wondered if I could humbly beg of your assistance in the matter.
Can you make a persuasion roll again?
Absolutely.
You can take advantage.
Alright, beautiful, thank you. So 18, that'll be 23.
With the 23, he looks at you like confused, but then he says, "It's none of my concern where you wish to go. If you want to know, I will let you know." And he gives you the address of like the witch. It's not, you realize when he talks about the place that you need to go, it seems he describes it as a very low building covered with trees and kind of hidden from passerbys. There's a small garden that surrounds it, and there's a big sturdy fence that surrounds it, and his pigs can't go in there because of the fence. And thin smoke comes from the roof of the home, and he says the fen witch lives in that place. She says she is the daughter of King Bartas, the rightful ruler of the land. Who knows what she really is?
King Bartas, the name, it has some familiarity to me. Is he... That is not the same Bartas that was slain by his sons after making them fight.
Oh, that was the ogre king that was slain by his sons, by Braid, Megan, and Bald. King Bartas had 2 sons and a daughter. I don't know what became of the daughter, but all 3 of the men were slain by the ogre king.
A most sad tale. I hope that it truly is his daughter in the building there. What do know of her. Would she be a good ruler of the lands?
I am not too sure about her.
I appreciate your honesty. I should go and find out for myself. But just before I do, I wonder, how much would the price of a pig or two be to a kindly traveling stranger?
Well, why do you want them?
I wish to pay a visit to Braid, but I understand that he has a very hungry snake in his moat that likes to make a little snack of unexpected visitors, and I was thinking perhaps a pig or two could fill the snake's belly and, well, leave me with my legs intact.
He laughs a little and he says, well, why don't I just give you one? When you're going there, just pick one up, whichever one you can wrangle up, and take them.
That would be most kind of you, Hitolf. I shall remember this kindness and seek to repay it when the opportunity presents itself.
I shall hope you are not eaten by the snake.
Why, thank you. I must say, you are everything I was led to expect when people spoke so highly of you. You are a good man, and it has been a pleasure to meet you.
He nods and looks very happy with the interaction. I will say let's take a small break there. I don't know how to cut into break. Hello. Yes. So what did we do last time? I mean, just today, 10
Um,
minutes ago. So basically we figured out where the witch lives. So do you want to go there or do you want to go to the oval?
no, I want to go meet the witch, see if she's really the daughter of the man whose ghost gave me ghost food,
Yes.
which increasingly seems like what happened.
So as described by Hidalf, you kind of make your way to down that winding path into the forest, into the swamp, and get like you walk up to the fence and you see a woman watering her plants. This woman is kind of she's wearing an apron. She's watering plants, picking herbs, and you can see that she has vegetables in her little garden in front of her small house. Her hair is slowly turning white, and her face is still smooth, but her hair grows like all over the place. She has dark brown eyes, and there are many pouches hanging from her rope belt.
I agree from a reasonable distance, so as not to startle her, and say, good morning to you. My name is Åsbjorn Skál. I have been asked to make sure I take care of the witch in this area. Do you know
And
where I could
who
find such a person?
and who asked you that?
Recently, in my travels, I had a strange encounter with a king named Bertus and his son Bernardus. They were most generous in their hospitality, and when I asked how I may repay this hospitality, they asked me to take care of the witch of these marches.
Tell me, do you follow the new way or do you follow the old ways?
For a time, I did follow the new way until, well, the Church of the New Ways burned my father when he was wrongly accused of heresy and witchcraft. His prayers did nothing. No kind or compassionate God intervened. It seemed that God had forsaken us, and perhaps even that what happened to my father was a punishment for us forsaking the old gods. So I have turned back to the ancient ways of my people and seek to bring honor to our traditional way of life.
And what do you think this person meant when he said to take care of the witch?
Well, if what Hidolf says is true, it may have been, well, it may have been a father asking me to look out for his daughter now that he is not in a position to do so himself.
I see. What do you plan to do?
I am here to free these lands from the ogres that rule them. I would seek to defeat and destroy Braid, first of all, and then Bald and Magon, so that the people here may live more just lives.
That's generous. And you would take on the not just Braid but Megan and Bald as well.
Of course, I would free all of the lands. I am on the side of any human who is having cruelty and injustice inflicted upon them. Any person who is subject to evils. I would like to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, to be the strength that guards the weak, and, well, I would like to offer people the protection that I once thought the gods, old or new, were offering me.
My name is Helga. I am the rightful ruler of this land after my father's death and the death of my brothers. I don't really think I am strong enough to fight Braid, but if you can get me his weapon, then I can help your fight against Megan and Bald.
I would be most grateful for any assistance that you can provide, and, well, I would not ask you to come and engage with them in person. When your father asked me to take care of you, I don't imagine that taking you to battle an ogre was exactly what he had in mind.
Well, she kind of looks away for a second. Braid will ask for my necklace, and she'll pull out like a hidden necklace, and she says he will ask for this because this is the last remaining piece of proof that this place, these lands are my father's and that I am the ruler.
Is it, in terms of its uniqueness, is Braid familiar with what it looks like? Would it be possible to present him with another necklace and to outsmart the smart one, as it were?
She looks at her necklace. It's quite it looks quite expensive, I would say. And so she says, I don't know what you could produce that would be equivalent to this in value, but I don't think he knows what it looks like.
Okay, well, that is good to know. As it happens, I do myself wear a rune that was made by my stepfather. It has not left my neck in the 8 years I have owned it, but perhaps Braid could be convinced that this is the necklace he seeks.
She looks and she says, and you would part with it if Braid wants it?
I would part with it temporarily, and then, to coin a phrase that has not been said before at this time, I would recover it from his cold, dead hands.
You see her smile for the first time. And she says, so this is all I can offer you now.
Your offer is most kind. It is, any information is welcome information. Do you believe that were I to stroll up to Braid's front door and give it a knock, he would seek to parley with me?
Oh yes, he is most clever. He would like to talk to anybody who thinks they can defeat him.
That is good to know. And I have been wondering, the brothers, they seemed to fairly equitably divide their inheritance. Do you have any idea if Braid would seek to usurp either of his brothers should an opportunity present itself?
Braid is definitely scared of his brothers challenging him, and he is wanting to usurp the brothers' stations if he can. Both of those are true.
And I would be right in thinking that if I were to propose helping him to overthrow his brothers, I would need his sword to do so, as no other weapons can harm them.
She kind of thinks for a second. Their own weapons can harm them. The weapons from you that you have cannot, but if you take their weapons and harm them with it. But if you want to play it through diplomacy, I can only say good luck, because I don't know how that will work out.
I have heard he is not the strongest or the boldest of the ogres, but still, an ogre is much stronger than a man, as the legends have led me to believe. But I
That
must
is
find some
true.
way of parting him from his sword, especially
Yes.
if I cannot defeat him with my own.
Yes. I think parting him from his weapon, parting the brothers from their weapons is one of the ways that you can defeat them.
Helga, this has been most enlightening. There is one further thing that I would seek to discover before I leave you to tend your garden. If I were able to restore you to your sovereignty over these lands, what kind of ruler would you intend to be? What would your rule look like for the people who live here?
I think the people have seen enough, enough of a rule where people rule by force and by strength and by anger and superiority. I think we need a rule where everybody feels like they belong here and that everybody feels equal.
I could not agree with you more.
A rule of humans over humans and not ogres over humans.
I have very recently said something quite similar myself to a swearer who I met when I first arrived.
And what did you promise her?
That, in return for her assistance in defeating Braid, that I would try to ensure that she would have a say in how these lands are ruled. I would not rob you of your inheritance, but the people here clearly listen when she speaks, and perhaps she would serve you as a counselor or a castellan or seneschal of some kind, so that her voice is heard, while the rule would be yours.
I understand.
Well, I thank you for your help, Helga. I shall go and present Braid with a necklace, a smile, and a mouthful of lies, and hope that I can trick the trickster. I would say, as a parting gift, meant as a compliment most heartfelt, but from the little I have seen, you truly seem to be your father's daughter.
She smiles like a little to herself and she nods graciously.
I'm going to bow and take my leave. And Well, brave companions, perhaps it is time to grab a pig from Hildolf, feed a snake, and outwit an ogre. What do you say? I knew you would be.
Not everybody is that ecstatic, but I will say sure. So you take the pig, you make your way to Braid's fort. It's a large roundhouse. I'm just putting it up next to the map.
Beautiful.
To the right of the map. It's a large roundhouse built atop an artificial island in the center of a marsh lake. The foundation is a series of pilings interlaced with loose rock, and these look quite old. And earth has been used to build up the height of the island well above the water level. And there's a wooden causeway that approaches from the Crannog from the western side. You can easily pass by the walkway, and the main entrance is on this side. I'll say as you approach, you realize there's also a back entrance from which a few workers are piling into the house. You can see this wide causeway leading to the island and the great doors of the round house. It sits in the center of a small lake, and it is obviously made by hand. There are people who piled the stones and tree trunks and sinking them into the water, and a low mist is around the base of this place. The doors are very new, and they seem to have been expanded from a one smaller frame. There is there are like a lot of different people hanging about towards the door, and there are servants coming in and out of the different doors. So yeah, what do you do?
Just to clarify, sorry, I would have tried to grab one of Hidolf's pigs on the way here, just in case a giant snake appears. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm at this point, I'm going to ignore the servants. I'm going to stride past them with my chin in the air. You'll notice Åsbjorn's body language is quite different. He's putting on a front of arrogance. And I'm going to walk straight up to the front door and hammer on it with a fist, impatiently, confidently.
You see that there are the front door is open and you can do that, but there are a lot of different people here, and some of them you recognize to be braggarts. They basically are drinking, eating, and like entertaining themselves, and they seem to be hanging off of every word that Braid is saying. Some of them even laughing at what he's saying. And when you knock on the door, the ogre Braid turns his head. I'll just put him up there.
Twit, what a handsome boy.
Yes. So you see him in there, and he looks, he says, "Come in."
Hi, greetings. I am Åsbjorn Skál. I am answering the summons that has been sent out for capable swords. You, I assume, are Magon, who has summoned us.
He looks a little confused. That will be my brother.
Oh, this is Eotenalond.
Yes.
I am told there is a great ogre here called Magon who has been robbed of his rightful inheritance, and he is seeking adventurers, people with strong steel and courageous hearts to help him recover it. Am I in the wrong place? Is Magon here? Does he live with you?
He bristles at that. Make a deception roll.
Oh, I really wish I'd remembered that thing about getting inspiration earlier. Oh, come on, dice. 11. Character sheet. That's a 14.
With the 14, he actually I'll also roll. Just give me 1 second. I would say that with the 14, he kind of looks at you and he says, "Do you want to die?"
Not in the slightest. I am a wandering adventurer simply trying to make a living. I have been promised a pound of silver at the least if I answered the summons and was successful in my endeavor. I apologize if I have caused offense, my lord.
I am Braid. I am Megan's brother. I suppose you are answering a call to kill me.
I did not get such details, merely that Megan had been robbed of the inheritance he should have had, and he is gathering swords to reclaim what he says is his birthright.
He turns to the people around him, and how many swords have passed by without us knowing? And he looks around. People are very quiet. How many have left? And he gets up from his seat. How many have left from here and gone to Megan's hall? How many have made their way there? What army has he built? And he's slowly coming closer and closer to you.
This is the first hall I have come across on my journeys. I am of the Well Coast.
Is someone you met, has someone told you about Megan? Did you meet anyone on the way?
Not on the way. I was in my meat hall on the Well Road when a skald came and delivered us a poem of ancestral injustice and stolen inheritance. I will be entirely honest with you, my lord Braid. I am here for the silver. I have a family to feed back home. It is not
He
easy.
roars angrily. Make a charisma saving throw.
All right. That's 9 plus
DC 11.
5. Yes, that's a 14.
You're just like, he roars in your face and you manage to stand your ground. And he looks at you unfazed and he says, "Where are these swords, these warriors coming from?"
From all over the Whaler Road, from the lands of the Saxons, and even, I believe, from as far away as the lands of the Angles.
Show me your weapon.
I'm going to unsheath my sword. It is a humble weapon. It serves me well enough to feed my family.
He pulls his long sword from the back, holds it with both his hands, and asks you to hold up your weapon.
Hold it up.
He kind of keeps his weapon next to yours and he says, "And how quickly would I cut you down?"
Increasingly glad that I have not yet sworn my sword to Megon's service, if that answers your question, my lord.
Would you be of service to anybody?
Well, now that I have met you, I am certainly not keen to oppose you, but I cannot go home empty-handed. I would return in shame, and my family would go hungry through the winter. If you have gainful work to which you might set me, I would
Find out
happily
about
accept.
these swords. Tell me where they're coming from, who is helping them, how did they get to Megan's hall?
Of course, I was told by a scout that words have been sent out everywhere where there are noble blades to be found and people who are willing to risk their lives for silver. We were given not the best instructions of how to get here, and on the journey the stars seem strange and unfamiliar. I believe I may have gone off course a little, but we were instructed to land in the hills, I believe. I saw a good docking here at the marsh, and, well, I thought I might have found a shortcut.
He laughs and he says, "Your foolish attempt to save time has led you to me, someone you would have had to fight. Now that you have seen what I am capable of, you should work for me. Tell me, whatever Megan promised you, I will give you that and more."
It was a pound of silver for swearing my service, with more silver to follow should he have reclaimed his birthright.
His birthright.
His words, not mine, your lordship. I do not mean to give offense.
It was me who suggested that we do not fight. It was me who suggested that because it is not clear which one of us will win. But if he wants to resort to such underhanded techniques, then I cannot hold myself back. Do you feel prepared to kill an ogre?
I have not met an ogre before today, and the legends I thought were exaggerated. I see now that is wrong, but I do not know how one would begin to slay someone with the might that I see before me.
Make another deception.
Come on, dice! Yes! That's 21.
So he kind of laughs, and a few other people laugh with him, and he starts to walk back, indicating for you to follow. And he says, "This man just walked into my court and said he wants to kill me, and he did not know how he would do it, and he did not know who he's trying to kill." And he laughs again, and he sits down on his chair and says, "You are simply too, what can I say? What is the word? Idiotic to harm anybody. So no, I will not give you your pound of silver. But you can stay here, rest. I have some chores, you can do that. And when you are ready to leave, you can leave."
I thank you for your kind forbearance, my lord. I will not gainsay what you have said. It is one of my mother's favorite sayings that if only the muscle in my head was as strong as the muscle in my arms, my life would be on a much brighter course.
He laughs and he says, "Your mother was wise, unlike you." And he puts his sword back, puts his sword right next to him. next to his chair with a hand holding it down. And he says, "Your first task would be to feed the snake around this moat. It grows hungry. And your second task would be to retrieve a necklace that I gave to a witch. It is mine, and I want it back."
Of course, my lord. I have one pig remaining from the small stock we had upon the ship. If that would suffice to feed your snake, I would gladly hand it over. I would gladly see the snake fed. And if you could tell me where to find this witch, I shall endeavor to make amends for the rudeness I have shown you today.
He tells you the swamp, the place where the witch is, where Hidalf had told you. And he says, "One pig may not be enough, but he looks to your followers and you. Between all of you, you will make do. Now leave."
Thank you, my lord. And I'm going to walk out kind of head bowed, looking very chastened, humbled, a bit embarrassed, like, oh, that was really awkward that I came to the wrong hall by accident. Soz lads.
You hear one of your followers say, "What were you trying in there?"
I was hoping that he would charge me to kill his brother before his brother could strike against him. I would pretend not to know how to kill his brother and hopefully would be able to talk it around so that he loaned me his sword to slay Magon.
The follower sort of looks a little like confused, but then he just nods. And do you start to feed the snake, or do you what do you do?
Going to feed the pig to the snake on the way out. Just kind of yeet it into the moat and scurry off, hoping for the best.
You see, as soon as you throw the pig in, the pig tries to get out of the water, but is instantly like pulled back by this giant snake. I'll just put its little token up. There you go. Not something to be trifled with.
Oh, that's a big scary boy.
And I'll say that you kind of look at this snake eating at the pig. You're safe on the walkway. And yeah, you leave, or do you stay?
No, I'm actually going to go back to my ship for an hour or two. Checking on the crew, make sure no one's getting chased by a troll or anything. And just leave it enough time that I could conceivably have gone to the swamp and back. As part of the last adventure, one of the items that I got that I didn't sell was a hard woven bronze talisman set with garnets from the days of giants.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of layer that over the Tiwaz rune or behind it, depending on which is bigger, so that it looks like part of the same necklace. And then I'm going to, after a couple of hours, I'm going to head back to Braid's Hall, necklace in hand, and try and pass that off as Helga's.
Yeah. So you do that. You kind of move into the way again. You see the snake as you go into the walkway, looking a little hungry, and but you're on the walkway, you're with your followers, and you're safe. You enter into the hall, and I'll put the hall up. It's that simple. You can see that this hall, like you go in from here, from the walkway, and then you go into the other rooms in concentric little circles, right? So
Mhm.
you have Braid sitting there. There are these people that I told you about. They are there as well. And there are servants. So yeah, so you kind of see them talking amongst each other. Some of them laughing at what Braid is saying, and some of them talking in conversation amongst themselves. What do you do?
I'm going to walk in, and without interrupting, I'm going to stand in front of Braid, or just outside the circle of warriors. I'm going to drop to one knee with a head bowed and hold up my necklace and just not interrupt, not impose myself, just wait for the conversation to die down and his attention to come my way.
Braid immediately notices you and looks in your direction and silences everyone, just makes them all quiet down, and looks at the necklace in your hand, gestures for you to come forward.
My lord, I have retrieved the necklace from the witch Helga in her house in the swamps. I hope this goes some way to proving that I might be a worthy addition to your cause.
Make one last deception roll.
Come on, dice. Come on, you've not let me down so far. Ooh, 14.
You got a 7. So basically, he looks pleased and he takes the necklace from you and kind of um, laughs and continues to laugh. Slowly looks at the necklace and like the significance of it, and he's lost in it for a few minutes uh, while you watch. What are you doing?
Where is his sword right now?
It's next to him.
Does he have a hand on it?
No.
I am going to stand up, and I'm going to say, one of my companions pointed out something strange and possibly magical about the amulet. And I'm going to be walking casually towards him as I'm saying that. And if I can get to a point where I am right next to, oh my god, I'm going to die. If I can get to a point where I'm right next to him, I'm going to go as if I'm pointing at the amulet and then
Okay.
just try to quickly snatch up his sword,
Make a sleight of hand.
lay it into him. Beautiful. Come on. Ah! I'm going to die.
I'll give you advantage actually because he is distracted. Wow! You go forward and you reach for his sword, and just as you're doing that, he grabs it, like a side view of you, and he grabs it. Roll initiative for you and your followers.
Oh dear. Alright, so this is for me. Hey, that's another nat one. On a roll. Alright, Sigrid. That's another nat one. Alright, RNG is broken. My word. Can we get 5 nat ones in a row? No. Alright, 5. That was Uber. You know what? I would not. Sorry, I didn't mention this sooner, but I don't think I would have brought Theota inside here. I don't think I would have risked her going anywhere near the snake. I'm Farthane. That's 4. 4 not ones in a row, man. My word.
Sigrid, Uber, and then
Farthane got a 4.
okay, Farpin got a 4.
Yeah.
Sigrid?
So it was a 1 for Sigrid.
Uber,
Uber got a 5.
you?
And I got a 2.
Okay, now 1 second. I'm going to say that I'll have to roll initiative for these guys. Just give me a second.
No worries. I'm not in quite the hurry to die that it may have seemed like in the last 30 seconds. Oof.
Sorry, could you repeat the initiatives again?
Yeah, no problem, mate. So it was a 2 for Åsbjorn.
Yeah, and then Sigrid 1, and then?
Sigrid 1, Uber 5.
And
Farthane 4.
Okay, I'm just going to roll for the rest of them. I need to roll for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that. Okay, so that's a 12. Oh, sorry. 18, 12, 11, 4, 2.
Alright. Audio's dropped, sorry, mate. I suddenly can't hear you.
Sorry. You see as Braid, that basically Braid has the same initiative as you. But you see, as Braid takes his sword and gets ready to strike, the surrounding people as well get ready to strike. I don't think we have the time to start the combat right now, so we will just tell me what your plan is.
I don't know, to be honest. At this point, I am strongly considering running away. I'm not overly convinced that I can just overpower him and drag that sword out of his hands. So yeah, I might run away and go and hide on my ship and try and, like, I don't know, sneak in when he's asleep or something.
There's the sword, if you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all for today. Do you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, crew. Thank you, Shweta, for running it amazingly as always. Thank you, Kshema, for streaming it. Thank you to the fucking dice gods for 4 not ones in a row. That was very, very, very cool. And yeah, if you would like to see me die horribly, come back at the same time next week, where I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen.
Alright, bye everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.